So let me take you through some of the design features. Let's start with the rear. So this will be, there'll be a number of colours that will be launched, but this will form part of our sort of hero device in our ATL marketing campaigns. So you'll see a lot more of this on your screen, hopefully very, very soon. What you will notice from M7, when we first launched that particular device in 2013, we used the aluminium body design. One of the minor criticisms I would have to say is that when people first saw that device, because it was so pioneering, people didn't actually realise that it was made out of metal. You'd see it on, in a magazine, online, you'd realise it was metal. We made that slight change with M8 last year with a gunmetal grey, where we had the sort of hairline brush finish. So you're able to detect, whether you saw it on the screen that it was actually made out of metal. And now that hairline finish covers all the various different colours that we have with HTC One M9. What we've also done is gone one step further, and not only have that hairline finish that you can see on the back here, which makes it a very premium device, but also you can see we've been very, I would say, quite bold and actually applied a different colour metal, as you can see on the border or the edge of the device. And we're sort of quite proud of this finish in respect to, well, certainly we believe that customers will be proud of it, so we want to ensure that it lasts the duration that they have the phone. And by that, what I mean is that we're anodizing the rear of the device and also the sides of the device, so it's even more hard wearing, so that if you're not using a case, let's say, it will be more hard wearing than what you will have seen with some of our other devices. So we not only anodize the back, but like I said, we anodize the side of the device as well. One other thing that you will have noticed is the power key has moved from the top of the device to the side of the device. That just offers the fact that it's a much cleaner device in terms of no visible cut lines from the top or from the sides of the device. What I mean by cut lines is you have the open ports and they're actually present at the bottom. So from a design point of view, it's a very clean looking device in sort of its overall structure. However, you always have the ability with motion launch to double tap on your screen to activate your screen. But not only that, is that you will see on some of the devices around the room, I haven't added it on this device, is you have the ability to add 4 sort of on-screen buttons below. So you can see your back, your home, and your sort of multitasking button. You also have the ability to add a power off button, so that will power off your screen. So rather than having to press on the right-hand side here, I could simply press on the button. So it just makes it more usable, especially for a person with small hands like mine. We have the camera on the rear. I'm actually grateful of this sort of squarish design, simply because it sort of follows the contours of the device much more sort of, I think it's much better in terms of following the contours of the phone itself, rather than being the circular camera that we had before. Again, subjectives, personal, but I believe that it's sort of more symmetrical in that form. And of course you still have the duo flash there that will give you different permutations of light intensity depending on what type of picture you're taking and the light conditions around you. And for me, no brainer, we are actually using last year's flagship camera on the front of the device, taking selfies, but more importantly things like video calling and so forth, whereby you don't necessarily need a flash on your front because you're capturing more light. And you probably know the ultra pixel camera better than I do. In fact, you've got the proximity sensor just there as well. So what you'll see here is I'm just about to take a picture. Doesn't matter if it's focused or not at the moment, at least. But I've just taken a picture there. So that's a standard picture. Click onto my gallery. You see that presented to you. And what you will see now in your gallery, and I'll move on to that in a moment, is the options that are presented to you are slightly different because you can do more with your picture now. So here I'll just press themes, and already, just in an instant, you'll see your picture and you're able to crop, you're able to enlarge it, whichever part of the picture you want to form as your wallpaper. So, as I mentioned earlier, not only will it form part of your wallpaper, but it will take out those prominent colours from your picture as well. So it crops a picture, and already you'll see that it's actually presented to you in a theme. Now the great thing about this is it's not just presented to you in one type of theme, but actually present it in other themes, freestyler, and so forth. So you can see the different themes, and I think the easy one is structure, where you can see, yes, it's used the background there, but it's taken some of the darker colours for instance, this here as your general background as well. So I can, let's select that. We can apply this thing. What this is doing is it is selecting, it's saving your theme so that at a later stage you can go back and change some of the aspects of that if you want. So for instance, if you want to change your fonts, if you want to change your application icons, you can go back into that theme and change them if you wish. So let's press OK. And so the theme's been applied, so already you can see themes applied, and also the font's changed from what we've had as a standard default. And there you can see it's presented to me, and from what you would have seen earlier over there is the application icons have changed, and also the other fonts have changed as well. And also you see that in the blink feed as your background. So that's themed, that's the HTC Home widget. What I mentioned earlier is around the gallery and some of the new functionality that's been added as part of the gallery. So if I just press gallery, there, it's actually a picture I took earlier today. We can select any one. Let's just select this one because it's here. So again, much like other HTC devices in a sense, you simply just tap on the picture and then you can see the menus that are placed there below. So we've already done themes. Let's go into Editor. Editor will now present to you your menu in a slightly different format to what you previously had. And this menu structure is actually fairly consistent. I say fairly, it is consistent throughout the whole device as well. So other applications you'll see similar type of menu where you get the 3 dots or the 3 bars to indicate that that's a menu that you can select. And the way that we've now structured it is that you have this sort of standard set of editing features that you see there, but also what's interesting is that if there's something that you tend to use fairly frequently, it'll be presented to you in your recently used folder just there. But let's run you through some of the essentials. So the essentials, as you can see there, filters, tools, red eye removal. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. You can see flare just here, which is frames, or if you want to scribe or draw on the actual picture itself. I'm going to go to touch-up first of all. So you've got touch-ups, so some of these elements have been added as part of they were announced last year as part of the HTC Desire experience, so they've been added into here as well, anti-shine and so forth, skin smoothing, etc. And let's go on to effects, so this is where there's been a few changes. So if I just tilt the device to rotate, what you'll see here now is some new editing functions that have been added as part of HTC One M9. First of all, though, you'll see Face Fusion there. That's been a function that's been added last year, but here we have some others. So if I just select Prismatic, just here, it presents you with a sort of just a tip screen, which you can always select to not be shown next time you use it. Now what you'll see here, be careful of your eyes, because you'll see it's just selected one of the particular editing functions, and you can have a play around with that. There's a few here. I haven't found my favourite as of yet, but you can see here as well. So there's just various different shapes that you can see here, and you can apply different effects. Now this here is selecting the same picture and applying those effects to that picture. The reason why I've highlighted that is there's other such functionality whereby you've got double exposure. So in fact you can combine 2 pictures in one. So for instance you can sort of take a picture of a person and then you can highlight another picture or sort of apply another picture on top of that. You can maybe change the texture of someone's hair or whatever else as well. So you're able to do some of that there as well. So if I go into screenshots here, let's select that one there. Probably not the greatest example because it's slightly different rotation, but you can do that there as well. I have this under my arm, excuse me, because I want to take you through some of the new dot view functionality. And as you've noticed, last year we decoupled a lot of the core functionality with HTC so that we can update those applications even more readily, rather than relying on some of our partners to distribute that. So let me place it into dot view case. So you'll see that, of course, the dot view case is slightly different. Excuse me. Of course, because of the camera detail. And I can talk you through that as well. So let me just show you here. Let's get rid of some of these notifications. And I'm going to take you straight into dot view. Now, as you will have seen before with dot view, We have a number of themes. We have a number of seasonal themes that you may have noticed around Christmas and New Year. There is a number of seasonal themes that are presented to the users, and there's quite a few now, in fact, that you'll see there as well. You can see that the same menu structure that I showed you as part of the gallery is also now shown as part of the dot view functionality there. So let's go on to apps. That's something that's new, and I think you really will like this. My personal favourite as part of today was the HTC dot breaker, but you're actually going to see the title screen, which I think is great. Right, it takes me back to my software engineering days. You can see that I haven't got past level 1 as of yet. I've got a few to go, but just to give you a quick description, all I need to do is press on level 1, and you're given some simple instructions on how to use the game. Now what it's telling me to do is close my case. Level 1, here we go. You can see the screen there. Now all I need to do to actually start playing this game, tap on this and move the device left or right, as you can see here. It's hard to play at an angle, but as you can see there, I'm doing pretty well actually. Oh yes. Oh, okay. Well, it was better this morning. But what you can see there as well is just basically, basic game and a little bit of fun with your dot view case.